This episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by Liquid IV. Summer is jam-packed and the heat can be no joke, which means summertime is also the time to prioritize hydration. And Liquid IV delivers an optimized ratio of electrolytes, vitamins, and nutrients, which turns ordinary water into extraordinary hydration.
With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink and 8 vitamins and nutrients, Liquid IV is your perfect companion this summer, whether you're working out, chilling poolside, or hydrating after a night out.
So tear, pour, and live more and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking WWE Smackdown, where Cody Rhodes says, I quit.
Oh, Cody's done at WWE? What a great day.
No, I quit match. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles is going to be the matchup at the upcoming Clash at the Castle this weekend. We'll be here. I was going to say there. We'll be here watching it. Live for the friendos. You guys can.
Yeah, it'll be Saturday morning. That means we maybe order ourselves a breakfast item.
McGriddle pay-per-view.
Back to McGriddles. All right.
What do we have? Did we have BK last time?
You did. I had Carl's Jr. because there was nothing on the BK menu that didn't have cheese or egg on it.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, we'll commiserate. We'll talk about it today over basketball.
Sure.
Lots of decisions to be had.
So
also on today's episode, we're going to talk about the latest on the newest member of the Bloodline. When will we see this person? This person's not going to be Ricochet, though, Larson, because evidently he's told the WWE, I'm out of here. There we go. I'm donezo with this place. What's the latest on this dude?
So this comes, was it the 8th? That was Saturday from PW Insider. They reported that soon to be free agent Ricochet, apparently finishing up with WWE, stating, quote, PW Insider has confirmed with multiple sources that WWE's Ricochet, Trevor Mann, has given notice that he intends to exit the company when his current contract expires this summer. We were told that Ricochet is expected to be written out of WWE storylines very soon in advance of his contract expiration. Following that report from PW Insider, Fightful Select stated that while they couldn't confirm that Ricochet had informed WWE that he was going to leave the company, those they spoke to within WWE were of the belief that Ricochet was likely leaving and was expected to head to AEW. So in response to PW Insider's report, Dave Meltzer initially reported that, quote, according to those close to the situation, everything is up in the air regarding Ricochet's future in WWE, but during the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave added the following. These transcripts come to you from Wrestle Talk. Steve, can you handle these Dave quotes, please?
Well, hold on a second before you say he added the following. He didn't add much with this quote, but this is what he had to say. Oh, boy. He's leaving most likely. It's not like official Sunday morning. He was up in the air, not signed the contract. WWE had been kind of, I guess, working with the idea he was leaving. They did have ideas for him in case he stayed. They may write him out on TV this week, but I was told Sunday afternoon that he did, in fact, make his decision. But what his decision is, that I don't know. But I think most people have him leaving. I think that's the safest bet of the two. I can't say 100%. Hey, you know what? People want to know what Meltzer's heard, what he says, what he thinks, so that's what it was.
Yeah,
which is a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, I it seems like the guy now the reporting is. I think there was just something that dropped, and my phone's over here. I don't know what it was. I think it was PW Insider.
Yeah, they had an update. Yeah,
tonight's going to be the last appearance of Trevor Ricochet Man.
Wow.
On WWE programming for now, anyways. In case unless he comes back, remakes himself, and comes back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, dude, it is one of those things where his talents just seem like a better fit for AEW because AEW, as they say, it's where the best wrestle. And he's a guy who, there's like entire Twitter threads I've seen of him getting cooked on the mic, even on Instagram Live, when he's doing a live, somebody says, "Why you bald?" And then he gets and he's like, "What? Why am I bald?" So if you can go to a place that still has a national cable deal here, and I think he, if I'm not mistaken, Ricochet is his birth name, so he can take that with him.
Yeah, he can take that. I mean, that's his middle name.
Trevor Ricochet Man.
Ricochet Man. Right. That's his name.
So he can take that with him. Then my God, like the dream matches there, clearly number one, Will Ospreay revisiting that because they both kind of got themselves that first big burst of attention by having a match with each other.
Yeah,
that's how they
best of the Super Junior match in 2016 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is great for the guy. It's funny because I see people talking about betting on yourself. It's not even necessarily that. It's just betting on what do you bring to the table and who's going to use it best. Well, if AEW is willing to give you, a pretty chunk of change to do what you really haven't been able to do that much over the past 5 years or whatever it's been, God damn, man, I'm looking for. I'm happy for the guy if that's what the path is he's gonna take.
Absolutely. I mean, because you gotta expect if he were to stay in WWE, the role he has now is probably more or less the role he would have going forward.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be a utility player.
Yeah.
And Ricochet's been wrestling for a long time. He's gotten that WWE paycheck for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he hasn't achieved some measure of success. He's a former Intercontinental champ, U.S. champ, Speed champion. He just dropped that title in Andrade.
Whoa, buddy! Spoiler alert.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, well, I did. I'm just saying for
it
the
hasn't
people
aired
out
yet.
there. I don't think it's aired yet. Maybe it has. I think it's like this Wednesday or something like that.
Well, Andrade is new Speed champ. If anything's indication that Ricochet's out the door, it's that one.
Yeah, absolutely. They did it quick.
That being said, when he came into WWE, to NXT, regardless of his promo abilities, I think a lot of people had high expectations as far as where he could go. And in NXT, we saw what he can do and the possibility of where he could go. I mean, he was North American champion for a spell, got called up before he maybe had a chance to challenge for the NXT title. But if he had stayed in NXT, I would imagine he'd probably been NXT champ at some point.
I feel like there are several wrestlers out there who there had been just too much. A couple things, especially with him, there had been too much damage done by Vince McMahon,
mm-hmm.
and the task of getting those individuals back to where they should have been had Triple H been booking them, from NXT all the way up through their main roster, might be too arduous, might be too difficult to get them back to that point. I think Ricochet is one of them, but also in a company where the promo stuff really is, you gotta have that, you know. And it's funny because I've seen little flashes in Ricochet, especially recently, where he's got that sort of like edge to him. He's got a little bit more swagger. He's been wearing the attorney at lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, it's there. If they want to find it, it's there. But he hasn't been treated terribly well. I mean, look at the Brock stuff, and he hasn't been treated terribly well there. Certainly not up. Especially if he looks at what AEW is doing with Will Ospreay. Oh my God, it's a no-brainer. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do hope that if he does end up going to AEW, he's able to, I don't know, sort of lead the direction on his character work, which I think maybe if he's given the opportunity to have that freedom that AEW generally gives their wrestlers, he'll be able to unlock that and become, what maybe something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, totally.
Or he'll just do really cool moves and put on really, really good matches, and that'll be enough. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, if he could find a way to unlock a level of charisma he wasn't either allowed or wasn't able to access in WWE on main roster, and couple that with extraordinary matches, I mean, that's pretty much what Will Ospreay's doing. Mm-hmm. He's going out there dropping charismatic, convincing, genuine-sounding promos and generally putting on the best match of the night.
So far, and that's the thing. It's like Ospreay has unlocked that. The promos are big with Ospreay.
Yeah,
like he that dude is the total package. I'm not talking about Lex Luger, but that guy, the promos, the charisma, they are up there. They are so high up there, and I hope that's something that Ricochet is given the ability and the opportunity to see if he can bring that as well.
And hopefully
because
that
I don't
first
think he's
promo,
been given that opportunity in WWE.
Not really. And hopefully that first promo or interview in AEW, it's a home run for him, because that's what it was with Ospreay. People are obviously excited to see him wrestle. But when he came out as a full-time AEW roster member, he had that first interview, and it was a home run. That's all it took.
Yeah, right.
People were invested in him and his story and in his direction.
Yeah.
And hopefully AEW has been kind of hit or miss with their debuts. And if it's a situation where he debuts and I mean, obviously quickly, it should be a situation where he debuts and put him in the ring as quickly as possible and give him 15 minutes with Ray Phoenix or Dante Martin.
Yeah, you don't want to spend a month with promos, and that's a different situation than Mercedes. But when you look back on the last 3, debuts for AEW, when you look at Ospreay, Mercedes, and Okada. What grade would you give? What grade would you give him?
I mean, I give Ospreay an A+ because that almost couldn't have been handled any more perfectly.
Yeah. Mercedes,
Okada, I'd probably give an A-.
Yeah, Mercedes, I'd give an A+. I mean, they booked a whole show for her.
They did, and and if and I don't know if this is the case, if she wasn't actually cleared to wrestle before Double or Nothing, I mean, I don't know what else.
I think that's a given. I honestly think there's no other reason why
they wouldn't have her wrestle sooner. I agree. Yeah,
they went to Boston. By the way, shout out to Celtics. Oh my God, they were clanking.
You gonna get your Kevin Garnett Celtics jersey?
I might get a Jaylen Brown one. Dude's like an MIT guy and everything. Oh my God, like I can never say. I look at that guy. He's 27 years old. I can never look at myself and be like, yeah, you can't do everything you want to do. Oh my God. He's a pro and he's like got one of the biggest contracts in NBA history. Yeah. And he's an MIT guy. What the heck? I know. That's nuts. No, dude, the Celtics are killing it right now. That's why I was telling you, I was like, I don't know, man. I think these guys are deep.
Porzingis hadn't played all the playoffs until the finals pretty much. So.
I know. And then he woke up.
I guess he's a difference maker.
My gosh. Right. Anyways, that's a different podcast we've got, Larson.
Maybe on FriendoCast this week we could talk more basketball.
Our fake NBA podcast, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I mean in terms of giving Mercedes her own show to debut, that's great, obviously. And
that was huge, yeah.
And maybe Ricochet will get one of those too. What's the name of the Ricochet themed? I'll be one and only. AEW one and only.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Where is he from?
Kentucky, I think.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I think so. I think that's where he's from initially. But I guess in terms of, because obviously they wanted Mercedes to be a face upon her debut, but given the popularity of Willow, they had to pivot. And so it was some of the promo bits were a little clunky.
I would be dang MQ says AEW Warp Speed. Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
I would flip my lid so hardcore.
That'd be fantastic. But anyways, I'd probably give Mercedes a B+, A-.
What?
Yeah.
Brother, they booked an entire show. That's like an A++. They booked an entire show.
But here's the thing. I'm not just accounting for the very first appearance. I'm accounting for the first few weeks.
Oh, I thought you said debut.
Well, I thought debut was the first appearance plus.
Like when you think of Andrade's debut, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Frank F.
I like it. They're trying to deconstruct the debut with that one.
It was awful. No music. Vicky Guerrero yelling at everybody.
Tony Khan was going through his minimalist phase.
And he just saunters out.
He's like, no, listen, I got a great idea for you. Nothing.
Sorry, when I was thinking debut, it wasn't just necessarily first.
The entire rollout.
It was the rollout of their AEW career. So I got you. I think in terms of the actual debut, yeah, that's just a solid A for Mercedes. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, okay, we're on the same page. Yeah, you're right. No, her. Dude, she obviously couldn't wrestle until she wrestled. And you can only do so much stuff with that. But in terms of like, hey, you booked this whole show in our hometown, the rollout, all that kind of stuff. I thought it was great. Like you contrast that with Andrade when he was like, listen, Andrade, here's an idea. Nothing. Nada. Nothing.
People are going to love it, though.
People are going to love it. They're going to be like, wow. But yeah, no, man, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when, like, do we know when is his contract supposed
to
actually
sometime this
be
summer. So, I mean, if you're going technically, you got 10, 11 days before the start of summer. So,
all right. Well, next week, I guess, on Dynamite then. Oh, man.
We'll see. Speaking of debuts, we could have another debut in WWE, new Bloodline member. So we're still all waiting for Jacob Fatu.
Where's Jacob Fatu? Where's he going to show?
Maybe here's the thing. I'm going to throw this out here. We have to have a long conversation about it. But maybe the idea that Jacob Fatu is not going to be bad Bloodline. Roman is going to bring him in to be good Bloodline.
Here's the thing, though. There's so many people that are already good Bloodline potential. You got Kevin Owens. You got Samuel Zayn.
I understand.
Yeah. He just brings them in, and it's like 6 dudes on 3, and they just squash the shit out of them.
Yeah, but anyway. Could be getting another member, probably the bad Bloodline, since his brother is already a member. Talking about Hikuleo. Bodyslam.net reported, quote, is believed that he is headed to WWE to presumably join his family in the current Bloodline story. Of course, brothers, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa. Apparently, Hikuleo lost at Dominion.
Oh.
Last, contract date with the company.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Did Bloodline have a match at Clash of the Castle? I don't think so.
No, they don't have. They're not going to be at Clash of the Castle.
All right, Smackdown in 2 weeks.
Didn't they say on TV that either Tama Tonga or Tongaloa couldn't travel because of they have a outstanding warrant?
Oh yeah, that's what commentary said. Yeah, it was Tongaloa. Yeah, they were trying to really make him up to be.
That's cool. I like that. I think that's a good idea. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. But it's wild if true. But yeah, I wonder if that's going to keep. It's like, oh man, Solo Sikoa, let's do this in Saudi Arabia. He's like, oh, I can't. We can't do it there. Got to stay stateside. Got to keep it to the 48 right here. Can't even go to Alaska for the
Wait, but didn't Tongaloa debut at Backlash, didn't he?
In Lyon, France?
I was in France.
I don't know. Maybe he got arrested. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. He did something in the meantime. Held up a convenience store or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe he didn't pay his taxes or something like that.
Yeah, that's possible. Anyways, man, before we get going with our SmackDown review, do you want to pay some bills?
Let's do it. This episode of Going Good Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Steve, question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Where is the year 2024 gone?
Tell me about it.
I mean, we're already halfway through the year 2024, and with life moving so fast, it's important to take the time to celebrate your wins and make the adjustments you need for the rest of the year. And therapy can help you track your progress and set goals for the rest of 2024 and beyond.
And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
I've spoken about it before, but back in my 20s, I was dealing with severe anxiety, and going to therapy allowed me to take a moment to learn the skills I needed to better cope with my anxiety, set me on the path to being, I hope, a better Larson. So take a moment. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And let's get a word from our sponsor, Liquid IV. Summer is basically here, and mine is looking to be jam-packed with activities, and most of them, of course, are outside in the heat.
Ooh.
As we know from playing basketball twice a week, Steve, this heat is no joke, which means summertime is also the time to prioritize hydration.
That's right. And with all the drinks out there, you want hydration that works. And Liquid IV delivers extraordinary hydration thanks to advanced science, Larson. Thanks to Live Hydra Science, one stick of Liquid IV delivers an optimized ratio of electrolytes, vitamins, and nutrients.
Yeah, I discovered firsthand that Liquid IV gives me superior hydration compared to water alone, especially out there on the basketball court. You know, I sweat a lot. when I'm out there hitting 3-pointers in your face, throwing down windmill dunks from the free throw line. And not only is Liquid IV the ideal companion before, during, and after your workouts, Liquid IV is a must-have if you're traveling, if you're chilling poolside, or you're looking to hydrate after a night out.
It's a bold claim after this past Friday, Friendo. But anyways, be sure to tear, pour, and live more, and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com.
All right.
Let's talk Cody Rhodes quitting.
Yeah. So is he gonna?
He's done. He's vacating the title.
Yeah.
He's going back to Cody Island in AEW. No more Cody in WWE.
Story's finished.
Finished. What else is there for him to do?
He's done. He did it.
Accomplished his goal.
He 100%ed WWE, so he's
good. He did. 2 years. Move on.
No, so he told AJ Styles, he was like, hey, listen, man, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? And AJ was like, give me what I want. You want a piece of me? Fine. How about this? An I Quit match at the pay-per-view thing, at the Premium Live event.
Clash at the Castle. So Cody didn't quit last night or a Friday night, but he will quit at Clash at the Castle because, no, I'm joking. This joke's run its course. He's not saying I quit, whether it's to end his time at WWE or to lose the Undisputed Championship.
No, he doesn't quit. So let me ask you this. Is anything about this stipulation, about this match itself, does this to you scream blow off? Or is this the next step in their feud, and then there will be a final blow-off maybe at Money in the Bank?
You know, when they bust out the stipulation match, especially one along the lines of last man standing, I quit, usually associated with the blow-off situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't go from like I quit to like let's have a normal match.
Yeah, let's have a catch-can wrestling match. No, that's backwards. You can't do that. I quit, last man standing, something like that signifies to me blow off.
Mm-hmm.
And also if AJ in the situation, like he could try to say he won last time, or he was on the verge of winning last time, but if he's in the middle of the ring and Cody puts him in the figure four, and AJ starts freaking out like Shawn Spears did when he got pinned in a figure four in AEW and says, I quit. Mm-hmm. Well, AJ at that point has no one to blame but himself.
Yeah.
So I don't see how you could advance this to, I mean, they could find some way to Money in the Bank that would be satisfying in terms of prolonging the feud. This is all assuming that Cody will win, which he will.
What are, I'm asking this of chat because I know your memory is Swiss cheese like mine is. But, like, have there been any I Quit matches in the past 5 years or so, or even 10 years, or 20, that both dudes needed to be protected to a degree? I mean, AJ's sort of at the point where him saying I quit straight up, you know, like so Edge said I quit to protect Edge out of the Beth Phoenix situation. Yeah. So they were threatening her. Is it possible that Arn Anderson will and Ricky Starks will have a concerto loaded up on Carl Anderson, and AJ Styles will be forced to say I quit? Because now that I say that, that's how I would book it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
the absolute same thing. Yeah. I'm looking back at Styles and Nakamura's feud. So their blow off was a last man standing match.
Okay, all right.
Before that, just a standard singles match on SmackDown. All right.
The one that I always remember is the one Skyam brings up here. Of course, everybody remembers the cheesy Rock versus Mankind.
Yeah.
Where they just played a recording.
So AJ and Nakamura, this is after WrestleMania, their Mania match after Nakamura won the Rumble. So at Backlash 2018, they had a no DQ match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then a standard match, and then the blow-off was Last Man Standing. That was at Money in the Bank 2018.
Oh, wow. Mark here says Mia Yim kidnaps Brandy. Now, I think AJ is also a strong enough character that he can say I quit and then walk it back on the next SmackDown. be like, that wasn't fair. I didn't actually say I quit. You know, that kind of thing.
Or I didn't mean it. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, or I didn't really mean it. Yeah, exactly. But I think you're probably right. This seems like it's probably going to be it. I mean, I don't know. Cody's going to be at Money in the Bank. It's just, what are they going to do there? Are we going to are we going to get the first of what's going to be his SummerSlam opponent at Money in the Bank? Are we going to get like Randy Orton? Is somebody going to win Money in the Bank and declare on Cody Rhodes for SummerSlam? Because like Gunther's already got the World Heavyweight Championship match. So if whoever wins Money in the Bank, they might try to do the thing where like the Mr. Kennedy thing, where he says I want this for WrestleMania. They declare in advance, but they just do it for SummerSlam instead. Which I don't know. Maybe it'd end up being Randy Orton. I know you're a pretty strong advocate for that for SummerSlam, or kind of.
I think that match makes a lot of sense given their history and whatnot. But I guess it also depends on Dwayne's availability. If they think Dwayne versus Cody could potentially happen at SummerSlam, because that match is going to happen at some point, whether it's Mania 41 or SummerSlam. Those seem to be the most likely destinations for that match. But again, it depends. I don't know when The Rock's finished shooting that MMA movie he's doing right now.
Oh yeah. He looks all weird in that movie. They gave him like a prosthetic something that. On his face, right?
They did.
Like a nose or something.
And a full head of hair.
And a full head of hair. Yeah, that's more odd. But yeah, otherwise on SmackDown, the Bloodline continues to terrorize the blue brand. Throw your ones up for the Bloodline.
Throw your ones up. Tonga Loa officially a member of the Bloodline. Wasn't the case until Friday night.
The infamous Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga has already received a promotion. The right-hand man of the Bloodline. Tama Tonga's got like one of the best faces in wrestling.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's just a permanent sneer.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. So yeah, and we saw the first, I think kind of the first time where violence was not just insinuated against Paul Heyman for not following orders. It was outright threatened, where Solo Sikoa says, "Wise man, you better make this 6-man tag match for the main, Street Profits and Kevin Owens versus Bad Bloodline, or else the main event is going to be Tama Tonga versus you in the locker room." Watching Paul Heyman in this situation is so entertaining.
It really is.
It's just the guy is completely a man by himself. He's on Paul Heyman Island, and oh man, this thing is under siege. It is getting hit from all sides.
Yep.
And it's wildly entertaining stuff. They're probably not going to be at Clash at the Castle. Let me ask you this. Is there any chance? Let me put this out there for you. I don't know what Cody would be doing at Money in the Bank, but is there any chance SummerSlam ends up being the first time we see Bad Bloodline and Cody Rhodes mix it up?
It's entirely possible.
Maybe Solo Sikoa wins Money in the Bank and goes after Cody Rhodes. If they do one more AJ match for the main event of Money in the Bank, and then Solo comes out and sort of, threatens Cody at the end of that match, and that ends up going to SummerSlam, that could motivate. If Cody beats Solo Sikoa at SummerSlam, if that's the case, that could motivate the final boss coming out and, Solo being like, this is the Thanos behind the plan here. And then, Rock goes away until like Survivor Series. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, because it seems like those two stories, they referenced it last week. We've got Cody where we want him. So maybe it could be that they start building what could be the Survivor Series War Games match, Good Bloodline versus Bad Bloodline, and of course going up to WrestleMania, Rock versus Cody, if that's going to be the plan for that. They could start building that at SummerSlam.
I mean, they could also do Cody Roman at SummerSlam, the rematch, and Roman loses again, and that's when Bad Bloodline turns on him. Solo gives him the spike. Tama Tonga give him the flatliner, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hikuleo can hit him with the choke slam.
Oh.
And that could start getting the wheels in motion for the War Games match as well.
Yeah.
Where Roman has to go out and try to bring the Usos back to reform good bloodline. He reaches out to Jacob Fatu. Says, Jacob, I need your help.
You know, it would be kind of
and there we go. We got 4-on-4 right there.
You could do 5. You could do what? Solo, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu, and Nikoleu.
Yeah.
And then
Roman, Usos, Sammy, and Kevin Owens. Yeah, you could do that.
Conceivably. Well, so how about this? Remember how last year at Survivor Series, Seth Rollins, the world champion, was on Team Cody. He wasn't even the top guy on his own team.
No.
What if Cody Rhodes ends up in the Seth Rollins role on Team Roman? What if Cody gets recruited? Roman comes back as a good guy. Him and Cody have the one-on-one straight up at SummerSlam. Cody beats him. Throw your ones up for Cody Rhodes. Then Roman's like, respect, shakes his hand. Crowd wouldn't like that, to be honest. No, Crowd really wants Roman these days. So Cody beats Roman straight up, but the respect is there. So then Cody has Roman's back going forward. He's on Team Roman at Survivor Series. Cody's not going to want to be left out of the A story.
Probably not. Probably not.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know about that.
We'll see. Anyways, let's jump into it. SmackDown kicked off with the recap of AJ's retirement swerve from last week. And then we see Cody. This is the common thread throughout this episode. Cody's pacing, snarling, seething backstage, waiting for AJ Styles to show up at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Tongaloa's anointment ceremony into the bloodline.
Yeah, so Paul Heyman on the mic, nervous as can be. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and as the wise man to the bloodline, it's within my scope of services that I must set the record straight. Until Roman comes back, Solo sits at the head of the table. I like that. Heyman seemingly has done no due diligence on this beyond just listening to Solo tell him lies. So he says, it's from that position that tonight Solo has once again upped the ante and declared this a double proclamation. To my right, already a full-fledged member of the bloodline, talking about Tama Tonga. He says, but from this moment forward, he will not only be known as Tama Tonga, he will be known as Tama Tonga, the right-hand man. I also call you
the right-hand man, Steve.
Oh, yeah. I was like, no. He says, I also call your attention to the man on my left. Ladies and gentlemen, history in front of your eyes right now, because from this moment on, the story of the bloodline won't be complete until you include the fact that a fully fledged member of the bloodline in the form of the infamous Tongaloa. Do you like the infamous adjective being used for Tongaloa?
Yeah.
What is the infamous for? This? Kind of, right? People dogging him on Twitter. And then Solo gives Tongaloa a hug. Heyman says, so with that, thank you and good night.
Yeah, he's
Solo's like, he's ready to beat feet. Solo says, whoa, hold on, wise man. Are you forgetting something? And Heyman says, right-hand man, newest member, thank you and no. Solo says, shouldn't you be thanking me too for saving you from Kevin Owens last week? Shouldn't you thank them? So Heyman says, thank you, Tama Tonga, for saving me last week against Kevin Owens. And Tama Tonga sort of
just leans in.
And he says, thank you, Tama Tonga, the right-hand man of the bloodline, for saving me from Kevin Owens last week. And Thomas says, we could have let KO kill you, but we saved you by orders of the tribal chief. So Heyman says, allow me to return the favor to our family. I got here early today to do wise man things, and all I've been hearing since I've arrived is that Kevin Owens is looking for a piece of any member of the bloodline. That brings out Kevin Owens. Solo Sikoa is unhappy about that. So Heyman gets out of there. Owens comes up the ramp, taping up his hands. He slides in the ring, tackles Tama Tonga, throws some hands with Solo Sikoa, but eventually he's overwhelmed by the numbers of the bloodline. Street Profits run to the ring to make the save. Owens blasts Solo and low with a chair. Profits take out Tama Tonga, and Kevin Owens blasts him with a chair too, setting up the main event for tonight.
Yep. We're backstage. Cody still pacing, still snarling, still seething, waiting for AJ. Then backstage, Solo's yelling at Paul Heyman. He says, because Heyman's trying to leave. And Solo says, "Where are you going? Are you trying to leave? You better make this a 6-man tag. You understand? If it doesn't happen, the main event will be you versus Tama Tonga in our locker room." And Heyman goes, "I like the 6-man tag idea better. I'll go get it done."
Yeah.
Then we had tag match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair taking on Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. So this was initially set up last week backstage, where Indy steps up to Bianca and Jade. It was initially supposed to be a singles match, Indy and Jade, I believe.
Right.
So Indy complains to Nick Aldis about it, saying that Jade bullied her into a match. Candice is there. She says, "Yeah, that's not right." Aldis says, "Hey, Candice, I heard your knee's fine. So, yeah, this is no longer a one-on-one match. It's a tag match now. You two against Bianca and Jade." Mm-hmm. And so this match starts, and almost immediately, Isla, Dawn, Alba Fire are on one end ringside. Zoe and Shayna, the other end ringside. Bianca and Jade get the win pretty quickly after their tag finisher. And then a huge brawl breaks out.
Yeah, man.
Once Jade and Bianca are posing in the corner celebrating the win. Eventually, though, Jade and Bianca clear the ring.
Setting up the match for Clash of the Castle, which we'll get confirmation on a little bit later. Afterwards, Cody still pacing backstage. Former NWA World's Champion Nick Aldis walks up to Cody.
Former Cody rival.
That's right. All-in rival and NWA 70 rival. Says, "I know how you feel. I got played by AJ too. It's not in the company's best interest for you to fight in the loading dock. Somebody can get hurt." Cody says, "Somebody's going to get hurt, Nick, and it's not me. All respect in the world is between myself and AJ." And Aldis is like, "All right, cool. Less for me to do then, buddy."
Yep. So then we were supposed to get an Apollo Crews interview. So Sarah asks him, "What do you expect out of your match against Angel Garza tonight?" And while Crews is just starting to answer that question, he's attacked by Legado. So security and refs come to break it up. Aldis steps in, calls for the medics. Eventually, Crews is helped up and helped out of the backstage area. LA Knight, yeah, steps in, asks Aldis, "Where is he?" And Aldis is like, "In case you didn't know, I just lost a match for tonight. I'm busy with other stuff." And LA says, "Yeah, I don't care about any of that. Where is he?" And Aldis says, "He's not here."
And Aldis is trying his best not to laugh through this entire thing, by the way.
And Knight says, "You're telling me he's not here again?" So Aldis picks up his phone and says, "This is what he's doing." And LA Knight says, "He's playing Tetris. If he wants to play Tetris, he can come here. If he hits the button enough times, I'm really good at fitting my foot up his keister."
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's just pause there before Carmelo Hayes comes in. Did you notice he was doing the power glove thing?
Yeah, he was.
When he was talking about hitting buttons, he was doing this.
All of his references are from the 80s and 90s.
I know, it's amazing. I watched Logan Paul wash out of the Tetris tournament. He is pretty good because it's Fast and Furious, man. They get on two different. They get on two like Game Boy type things. They might actually, I don't know. But yeah, and then you see him side by side, and he was fighting like, I don't know, like a 12-year-old kid or something like that. And it was pretty darn entertaining. It was good.
So LaMelo steps in and says, talking about a guy who's not even here, but let's talk about a guy who is here. Or let's talk about the fact that I've been cooking you the last 2 weeks. And LA Knight says, "You mentioned something about an opening for a match. There's 2 guys here who are looking for a match." And Aldis just goes, book it.
Book it. Yeah.
Match happens.
Then we had Johnny Gargano versus John versus Grayson Waller. They are moving this. The tag division is not WWE's strongest. I'm sorry, I should say this. The men's tag division is not the strongest thing in the world. If you look, it's kind of, for the longest time, dude, like the women's tag division just seemed like a complete afterthought. I'm so glad that like with Bianca and Jade there, they get tons of like backstage segments, tons of like character stuff, promos. Like, hey, the women's tag scene right now because of Bianca and Jade, that's I'm pretty interested in that.
Yeah, totally.
The SmackDown and, to be honest, the Raw tag divisions for the men. Oh my God. This is on cruise control, man.
Well, they're using the SmackDown tag titles to set up and push a singles story between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. And while it does no favor for the tag division per se, I do appreciate that week in and week out. Like Waller saying the commentary, I'm the only reason that Austin Theory is relevant. It's a little more explicit in terms of the wedge they're putting between them. But I liked how Waller's evading the suicide dive from Gargano and just pulls Theory in the way, so he takes it.
It's such a glacial pace in terms of, but that's just Triple H.
It is, but it's they're advancing character and story during the wrestling matches and not just during talky bits, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. No,
that's one of my preferred routes to develop character in pro wrestling is like you have these wrestling matches where you have people with these huge personalities and the tensions that can exist between them, and when done right, even little things like this is what really separates pro wrestling from a lot of other storytelling mediums. This type of stuff, and that's what I appreciate most about it.
Well, there you go. Look at you being Mr. Positive. I love to hear it. Also, I love to hear that DIY theme song. We got to hear that.
Can't stand it. We got to. That's talk about a wedge, man. That's gonna be a wedge. That's gonna drive right between us.
DIY.
It's terrible. What they should have done? And they probably did it last week. Is play DIY's theme, and then Austin Theory's theme back to back, unless there was a commercial break last week, because they're virtually the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nah, DIY's is iconic at this point, dude. Top 3. Like, this is my ears.
Is this going to save Def Rebel's job in your estimation as a DIY theme? It ain't going to be that Ethan Page theme.
No, we're in agreement on that one for now.
The problem is it starts off
ego.
I know it started off pretty good. I was like, all right, this is a pretty cool jam, and then like the attitude, ego. Nope, that's a miss.
Yeah, and then it's just like, okay, Def Rebel track 4. Boom, there. This one. Yeah. It's just they've got like maybe 4 tracks, and they just like, oh, let's just move this over here, and then this is fine for this guy.
Yeah,
ego.
Oh, so bad. It was so bad. Anyways, Waller gets the win here. After Theory eats that suicide dive from Gargano, Waller pushes Gargano at the ring post, and then back in the ring, Waller hits that cool flipping kill switch. He does for the win. Then while Waller's celebrating in the corner, Austin Theory's on the floor glaring up at him. He's not happy about the situation.
Yeah.
We're backstage. Cody's still there. Aldis walks up with a bunch of security and says AJ is about to arrive at the arena. This is precaution. Make sure nothing gets out of hand. We go to commercial. We come back. Backstage yet again. AJ arrives in an SUV, and he's standing up through the sunroof, and he's taunting Cody from the car. So the Good Brothers get out to stand between Cody, security, and the SUV, and Cody's all flustered, so he walks away while AJ keeps talking trash, and Cody makes his way to the ring, drops a promo, says, AJ, get your ass out here. So AJ and the Good Brothers make their way to the entrance. There's a bunch of security out there, too, by this point. So AJ says, Cody, you think I care what you want? What you want isn't relevant to me. You want to fight me so bad, I can tell you what, Cody, give me what I want. Give me what I want. I want the WWE Championship at Clash of the Castle. And Cody picks up the mic again and says, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you now. Sorry, you don't want to fight now. You want to fight at Clash. 100% you got it. But AJ, this is going to be a regular match. It's going to be an I Quit match. So Aldis just looks at them both and books it. And AJ moves towards the ring. Cody gets out and starts fighting off security. Eventually, security holds him back. AJ runs in, hits a forearm on him. And all that security is worrying about seemingly is separating Cody from AJ, but not so much AJ from Cody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, yeah.
Then we're outside Nick Aldis's office.
Yeah, I thought it was, in terms of that promo, I thought it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was fine.
That's cool. I quit. We're outside Nick Aldis's office. Bianca and Jade walk out. Byron's like, hey, you've been in there for a while with Nick Aldis. And Bianca says, we've been wondering what the match is going to be at Clash. And Jade says, you know what? We asked for it to be a triple threat. Us versus Zoe and Shayna versus Isla and Elba. So yeah, that should be a really good match. It should be a lot of fun. All confidence points, of course, on Jade and Bianca.
Probably with Zoe Stark eating that pin.
Could be, yeah.
Then we got LA Knight, yeah, versus Carmelo Hayes. LA Knight gets the win here. Mello counters a BFT with a roll-up, and then Knight reverses that roll-up into a roll-up of his own to get the win. And then LA Knight grabs the headset and tells Logan Paul, if you're not going to come to SmackDown, I'll bring SmackDown to you, Logan Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, I saw this on Twitter, somebody saying, oh, man, it's entirely possible that LA Knight invades the Tetris tournament. But it didn't happen.
Nah.
He'll probably just go to his house next week.
Something like that.
After that, we had Tiffany Stratton walking up to Nia Jax being like, hey, look, man, I knew you were going to be queen of the ring. I called it. And now how about this? I'll get your back. You're the queen of the ring. I'll be princess of the ring. Together, nobody can stop us. And then Stratton leaves. Nia turns around. Mia Yim walks up. And Nia's like, take a page out of AJ's book and retire. And then Mia throws a drink in her face. They brawl. Nia Jax slips on the remnants of the drink, but she still is able to take it to Mia Yim, and the refs and the producers come in and break it up. So going to get that match next week.
Yep. Then Bayley comes to the ring for a promo before she really gets started. She's interrupted by Chelsea Green and Piper. Chelsea starts off, calls Bayley a loser, and says you're going to be a loser yet again when Piper becomes the new women's champion. And then Bayley starts really talking up Piper, really puts her over. He says, I've been following your career, I watched you at the Mae Young Classic. Appreciate what you can do in the ring. I got respect for you. And because I have so much respect for you, if you want a title match, you just needed to ask. But instead, you jumped me from behind. So I'm going to have fun beating you in front of your friends and family. And so Piper snatches the mic from Chelsea and kind of tries to put Bayley's mind at ease that she's not going to attack her again, so I've already embarrassed you enough. And she says, I've been doing this a lot longer than the Mae Young Classic. That was 2017. I've been clawing my way out of the trenches and putting Scottish wrestling on the map since 2008. So while you were sitting in your ready-made seat dishing out hugs and high fives at the Performance Center, I was busy being a trailblazer, winning titles for myself all over the United Kingdom, Europe, and Japan. She says, Bayley, I was already a women's champ before I even stepped through that door, and if you had any idea how dangerous I really am, you wouldn't stand so close to me. You can respect me all you like, but it won't stop me from taking that title off you. And I hope that respect makes it a little more painful when you look up at these lights and see me standing over you, your new WWE Women's Champion. It was a really good promo.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, that should be a good match, too. Let's see here. Going back to that Tiffany Stratton thing, where do you think that's going to go? Because I thought this myself. Stefan here in our YouTube chat says, thinking Tiffany wins Money in the Bank. Nia's got the match at SummerSlam. Tiffany cozies up to her, but wins Money in the Bank. I don't know.
I don't know
something
either.
There's something there.
I mean, either they're going to form an alliance that is doomed to failure.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Or Nia's going to be like, no, I don't need your help, and they're going to feud immediately.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One of the two.
Given the glacial pace of Triple H's,
probably the former then.
Probably the first one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like 3 years from now before they break up.
Exactly.
After that, we had a Logan Paul videotape promo from his...
He called the camera crew into his house.
From his estate. Yeah. He says, I can't believe I have to waste my time doing this, but this WWE megastar who's never won a title is looking for me. LA Knight, why don't you take off those Temu sunglasses and take a look around? I ain't there. I needed an actual challenge, so I came to LA, your turf, and I'm competing in the World Tetris Championships, and I'm coming home with another championship. I'm going to make this real simple for you, stupid. I'm Logan Paul. I compete with the best in the world. Real champions. You've done nothing to merit my attention. You're a walking catchphrase. There are levels to this, and you're not on mine. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good promo.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good promo. I've seen people, because at some point I think he's something like go back to the mid-card, and he's the mid-card champion. But, like, the dude was just in the main event challenging for the world title. He does kind of like,
pay-per-views before.
I don't know. He kind of elevates that damn U.S. title. You know what I mean? Like, he does a pretty good job at that.
He takes it everywhere,
He does, yeah.
Takes it everywhere.
Yeah.
So we're backstage. Chelsea and Piper walk up to Naomi and all this while they're having a conversation. And Naomi says to Chelsea, I heard what you had to say about me earlier, because Chelsea mentioned Naomi during the back and forth with Bayley. Says, keep my name out of your mouth. And then Chelsea, taking offense to Naomi's tone of voice, goes, ew, Naomi. And Naomi gets right in her face. And Aldis steps in to separate him and says, we don't have time for this right now, so you're going to have a match next week on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Then we had the main event, Kevin Owens and the Street Profits versus the Bloodline. Let's see here. What happened here? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was a DQ because, what is this? Oh, my goodness gracious. A lot of comments here. So Ford is isolated till he hits Tama Tonga with an insecurity.
A lot of different clauses in my notes.
No, it's great. I'm not, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not dogging your notes. Your notes are great.
No,
just trying to figure out
I know they're trash.
Trying to figure out where to start is all. I'll start at the beginning because you wrote it. Ford isolated.
Oh, no, go from the second bullet point. Oh, sometimes I overwrite the notes because I don't know when the match. Oh, no, you have to start from the first one.
Yeah, I got to start from the first one. No, it's all good. So Montez Ford is isolated till he hits Tama Tonga with an enziguri, gets a hot tag to Kevin Owens. Solo comes in too. Kevin Owens goes on a run, hits Solo with a cannonball, a swanton. Solo kicks out of that. Kevin Owens looks for a stunner, but Solo escapes. They trade some super kicks. Solo drops Kevin Owens with a clothesline, looks for a spike. KO ducks it, hits a stunner, covers, but Gorillas of Destiny pull him off the cover, throw him into the barricade. Dawkins then pounces Tonga Loa. Ford takes out everybody with a dive over the ring post. Solo blasts him with the chair. That's it, DQ. And then Dawkins gets wrecked in the ring by the Bloodline. Solo hits him with a spike. Ford crawls into the ring. Solo calls for a spike, but instead hits Ford with a spear, which can mean any number of things. Kevin Owens then pulls Tonga Loa out of the ring, brawls with the Bloodline ringside, but he's quickly overwhelmed. Bloodline put him through the announce table with the triple team power bomb. You know who else used to use the triple team power bomb?
That was da-dun.
Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Ligma, D's,
the Shield. There we go. That was SmackDown. You want to talk about NXT Battleground here, quick like?
So, full disclosure, I didn't watch all of it. I watched the bits and pieces that were on social media because yesterday was my anniversary.
Yes.
So
I watched the whole thing so I could fill in any kind of gaps where.
So in terms of like the stories, let's just take this match by match.
Sure.
Number one, why did Joe Coffey lose?
Because it made sense for him to lose.
Yeah.
Or
Didn't they say that they were gonna like? He was like, I'm coming after the North American title and the world title.
Well, coming after him and actually winning them are two different things, Steve.
Here's the thing, though, I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
What? Yeah.
So this is going to be. I wonder if this is going to be Obafemi's thing for a while, where he's in these triple threat matches to defend the North American title, and just wrecks everybody. That finish to that match was crazy. That powerbomb, he caught that meteor from Wesley and powerbombed him.
That was awesome. That was crazy. Yeah.
And then hit Joe with the last ride to get the win.
I just thought, hey, Gallus is big coming in. They did the big thing. Oh, hey, what a wreck of everybody, right? And then he's the one. Joe is the one to eat the pin, so he doesn't even have like a case.
Nope. Well, he hit his
like Gallus was there and everything.
Yeah, he had a pinning situation on Wesley and got broken up or something. So he could say, I would have won if not for that.
You got to pin Wesley in this situation because he's tiny.
Well, I think that's what Joe Coffey tried to do.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like the booker of the match, like Shawn Michaels.
Oh, but no, that's not going to happen because they want Wesley to come out of this still looking good. So that wasn't going to happen, Steve.
Any chance? See, I'm hoping Gallus joins up with Drew McIntyre.
That'd be cool.
They show up at Clash of the Castle. Big pop for Gallus boys on top. And then they help Drew win that world title.
That'd be great.
Drew's got some numbers against the Judgment Day.
And then eventually CM Punk.
And then CM Punk has to fight as a underdog against all the numbers of Gallus. So CM Punk has to go through Joe, Mark, and Wolfgang to get to Drew McIntyre.
To get to Drew McIntyre, yes.
Right, exactly.
Let's talk about the ladder match that opened the show.
Oh, man.
Good bout. I was not expecting, like, if you asked me to power rank who I thought was going to win that match, I don't know if Kalani Jordan would have been in the top 3. It was surprising, and that's not in any way throwing disrespect her way because I think she's really good. I in my mind, like she's like earning a feud with Fallon Henley, so I thought, all right, they're going to feud coming out of this. Same with Mia Yim and Jada Parker.
Cody Miles had a stat earlier. I think 160 some odd people were participating in the predictions challenge.
It was almost 200 by the time it ended, yeah, or closed, yeah.
Oh, by the time it closed, it was almost 200.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Only I think he said 8 or 9 went with Kalani Jordan, which I'm kind of surprised it's that high.
I know, me too.
She has, in the short amount of time that we have been covering NXT again, she stands out as somebody, like, if you want proof that the Performance Center these days is just killing it, she is right there because she's so much fun to watch. I was shocked as well. You and I both had Lash Legend. But yeah, no, I think it's a really, really good pick, and it shows that they have a ton of confidence in her. To be the first person to hold the women's North American title is a big deal.
Yep.
So yeah, no, from what I saw of the match, a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was good. Feel bad for Lash. She had to take the rough spot out of the ring.
I saw that spot, yeah.
But Sol Ruka hit it 2 like bang bang soul snatchers back to back. But after she got the pin on NXT this past Tuesday, I didn't think she was going to win. So
yeah, right.
Hence, Lash Legend, she ate the pin in that match. After that, we had the tag titles defended. Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeated Good Brothers. Carl Anderson once again eating a pin. Not shocking.
Not shocking at all.
Good match. You know, when the Good Brothers want to turn it on, they can go.
Look at the G1 Finals 2012.
I mean, that was more than a decade ago, but yeah, that's an example. That was Carl Anderson. That wasn't Good Brothers.
You know, look at Festus versus Santino Marella 2010.
So again, even longer ago, and not.
I just threw those names out there because I have no idea when Festus was a thing. I think it was earlier than that.
It was earlier because Straight Edge Society, I think, was earlier.
2007, 2008, maybe. I don't know what it
was. And then we had NXT Underground, which I thought was pretty good. It felt a little long.
Oh, did it?
It just felt a little long.
Yeah.
There's some cool spots, and it's the most difficult thing in my mind to book a shoot style match is how you pull your punches enough so they don't hurt somebody, but they look like legitimate punches. And it's tough. I get it. I'm not, this isn't exclusive to this match. You can go back to, what was it? The Jake Hager Wardlow cage or MMA style octagon match they had on Dynamite or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Same problem there.
Yeah.
You can do your stuff on the clinch, you can do your submission moves, but the hardest part is in a regular pro wrestling match, when you're stand up throwing strikes, the other person can anticipate and sell it, so it makes it look more effective. But if you're trying to do ground and pound,
yeah, right.
They don't really have that as an option, so it's tough. I mean, I thought it was well paced. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it was as far as worked shoot style pro wrestling matches, it was one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah. Somebody also pointed out that, and this is just sort of a normal thing, like Lola Vice also beat Natalia
in NXT Underground
NXT Underground. So that's why I figured, okay, well, yeah, it's in main roster talent go there. Basically, I don't even think there's much exception here to get beat
for the most part,
to enhance the NXT.
Except when
talent.
Dolph won the NXT title for that spell.
Yeah, what a bizarre exception that was.
Really was.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'll I don't know. I'm probably gonna check it out. We're not gonna do like a full review. This
is our review of it.
This is our review right here.
It was really solid. It was solid. They're obviously setting up Lola Vice to do huge things in NXT, and she's been delivering in the ring. She's got tons of personality. She's got a lot of charisma. So I expect her to do massive things over the next year.
Yeah.
After that, I'm just going off memory here. I believe it was a North American title match. Oba Femi against Wesley and Joe Coffey. This was good. I didn't think it was quite as good as Oba and Dijak versus Josh Briggs.
Sure.
But you got Oba Femi in there doing all sorts of crazy stuff. You basically did a press slam of Wesley off the top rope.
That guy's he's gonna be huge.
Massive.
He's gonna be absolutely
massive superstar.
Yeah.
I know. Oba Femi wins, pins Joe Coffey, much to Steve's chagrin.
Hey, yeah.
Oh. No. After that, my estimation match of the night, Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace.
This one I'm going to go out of my way to watch.
Spectacular.
Yeah. Really good, huh?
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. Really, really good. Tatum Paxley comes out towards the end of the match, looks at the NXT Women's title, but instead grabs Jordan's TNA championship.
Oh, the Knockouts championship.
And starts leaving with it. And then Dana, Ash by Elegance.
Yeah.
And that's how Vic Joseph said it, almost said Dana Brooke. Comes out, takes the belt from her. And then Jordan Grace goes to the floor and then blasts Ash by Elegance with the title. Gets back in the ring, doesn't lead directly to the finish. but ultimately Roxanne gets the win. Really good match.
Did you have other TNA talent making an appearance on predictions?
No, I didn't.
I think I did. So that helped cover me for Joe Coffey.
Yeah.
Eating that pin. So the prediction standings right now? Let me see if I can bring
the leader has 35.
Okay.
And I believe there's 2 people tied for the lead. And then there's a couple people. I know I'm tied for 5th. I'm 3 points behind the leader.
And how many points behind the leader am I?
And you're 8 points behind the leader, Steve.
I'm 8 points behind the leader?
8 points. 7 or 8. Sorry, 7.
I am 4 behind you. I'm at 28 and you're 32.
Yeah, and I'm 3 points. So, yeah, I'd be 7 behind the leader. Sorry.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's 2 more shows this month. Plenty of time to catch up.
Oh, yeah, dude. Absolutely. One of them is going to be a AEW. One's Forbidden Door.
End of the month.
That Forbidden Doors, I think, are usually pretty easy to predict, though. But we'll have all sorts of
prop bets and confidence points on said prop bets. Main event, Trick Williams defending against Ethan Page. Fine match. Trick gets the win because Ethan Page can't control his temper pretty much. He keeps on punching Trick in the corner. The ref has to separate him, so the ref, pulls Ethan Page back towards the middle of the ring, and Trick gets up and hits him with his running knee to get the win.
There you go. All right. Yeah, how was that last match?
It was fine.
Yeah. I think that's the same thing Meltzer said about it. I read his quote about it.
Yeah.
He was like, it was good.
He said it was like a good TV match.
TV match.
And, they had enough interesting spots where it felt like a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Enough creativity in there that it felt like a pay-per-view match.
Okay. Roxanne versus, I heard this though, Roxanne versus Jordan. That should have main evented though.
Yeah, I mean, you could have easily made that argument. Yeah.
Probably should have. It seemed like a bigger deal. No offense to Ego.
That song alone should have knocked that match down to
right.
Second to last on the card. Yeah, I mean, especially during the Roxanne Jordan match, they were talking up the history of it. This is the first time in NXT that someone not signed to the company was having a title match.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So it's a pretty huge deal. You got to expect that Jordan Grace she's having an open challenge at the next TNA pay-per-view. It'd be Tatum Paxton that answers that, I would expect. So
that
Jordan
could
will beat her.
Yeah. And then what's his face? The NXT
Gallus
scapegoats.
attacks Wes Lee backstage. So you got to expect the Rascals reunion to take out Gallus, or at least fight Gallus.
Okay. And then the NXT scapegoat. What's his name? Not Briggs, the other guy, Jensen.
Oh, Jensen.
Brooks Jensen.
Yeah. He was at the indie show this weekend.
He showed up at some indie show this weekend, milling about.
Yeah, he's just going to show up wherever.
He'll show up at TNA.
Apparently. All right, you want to answer some questions, Steve?
I think that'd be a great idea.
That'd be a swell idea. Timor here asks, what would be your strategy for winning an I Quit match against each other if you couldn't resort to attacking each other? Oh, as if we could pin someone down long enough to start farting on them.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I was going to say.
It's the obvious answer.
Not really surprised at that, to be honest with you.
It's the obvious answer.
Yeah.
Cameron here says, since Top Dollar says that Steve can't pleasure women.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, man.
What insult would a wrestler say to you, Larson?
Yeah, I got myself in trouble, dude. I got myself in trouble.
It happens from time to time.
We did this video, and then some Twitter snitch decided to put it out. And the funny thing is, like, the video is just tanking on our channel. It's not, nobody gives a shit about this video.
No.
And so in it, though, I make reference because it's booking NXT versus...
It's Worlds Collide NXT versus TNA, yeah.
Right, exactly. And so
that overlay you made for that looked great, too.
Oh, didn't it? I know.
Yeah,
I put a lot of time
and effort
futuristic.
Into that. It's great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's got like the, galaxy and stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And so when I poke a little fun because it's what we like to do here at Going in Raw, the Friendo Club. And I book a Heritage Cup rules match against Tony D versus the other TD, not Tommy Dreamer, Top Dollar. Now, I've been a supporter of Top Dollar for a very long time, Larson. I liked him in Hit Row. Wanted to see him do well outside of... What? Why are you doing that look? It's true.
Okay, if you say so.
What? Have you not heard me say such great things about Top Dollar before?
I don't remember, but that's
I'm
not
like,
to say
dude,
it hasn't happened.
This guy really should have been the guy to dethrone Roman. I think I said that.
I don't remember that conversation.
You know, he is the forbidden door. But anyways, it was just a silly joke. I said it'd be the worst Heritage Cup rule. Because here's this is the joke. The Heritage Cup rules traditionally was like, hey, it's the British guys who can wrestle. You know, it was the Tyler Bates, the Axiom. He wasn't British, but, you know, it was from that scene. The guys who could wrestle.
Yeah.
And then they gave it to more of an entertainer type guy, Tony D. So the natural progression of that would be Top Dollar, who's not exactly, unless I'm mistaken, not exactly known as like the wrestle guy. He's an entertainer guy, which is fine. It's cool. He's made a good
totally
career
cool.
off that.
Absolutely.
So I cracked wise, and then some Twitter snitch put it up there, tagged him, and then, you know, he said something about, you know, my inability, which I don't know if he's gone through my Rolodex and has contacted, you know, the women in my past.
Calls, maybe
made some phone calls, you know, try to get some info out there. But he said that, you know, all the women in my life have faked orgasms. So I don't know, maybe he's right. I don't know. But anyways, if anybody's feelings were hurt, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here.
No, absolutely not.
It's all silly jokes. It's all silly little roasts. It's all good. You know, them Twitter snitches though, that's a whole other thing. So yeah, anyways.
Flannelly Dan here says if AEW is going to borrow from WWE and mirror a Bloodline template story, who would they utilize outside of the Elite? No Elite.
If who? What now?
So if AEW is going to try to craft their own long-form Bloodline type story, and by that I would assume not beat for beat, but just a long-term story with a lot of interesting interpersonal dynamics.
Yeah.
Who would they utilize? But it can't be the Elite. Blackpool Combat Club.
Clearly, you have the basis for it now. You have the roots of it right now, if you will, Larson. It'd be the learning tree. It would be Chris Jericho would be in the Roman Reigns role. Big Bill would be in the Jimmy Uso role. Brian Keith would be in the Jey Uso role, perhaps. Sammy Guevara. Bring him in too.
Just made it worse.
Oh no! Now some Twitter snitch is gonna call you out for saying I made it worse with Sammy Guevara.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Let's move on. Alex Foster says, "What other events should NXT and TNA wrestlers compete in?" Alex Foster says, "I want to see a cook-off. So any event." You know, they have the company picnic and they have all the games for that.
Yeah.
Let's have an NXT TNA company picnic.
So you've got like what is like the three-legged race? What do they call it? Isn't that what it's called? The three-legged race?
Something like that. Yeah.
You put like one leg in a potato sack with somebody else, a burlap sack. So you got that. I guess cornhole.
Yeah.
Cornhole. What else?
Horseshoes, maybe.
Horseshoes. Is that kind of redundant with cornhole? I know they're different games, but like you think.
I think there's different skills involved.
Okay. All right.
One, you got to throw a thing through a hole. The other one, you got to put around a pole. It's two different skill sets.
But here's the thing about horseshoes that you can get close.
Well, you can in cornhole too if you get a certain number of points for
dunk tank.
There you go, dunk tank.
Dunk tank.
Great answer. Let's see. Oh, Jack Napier.
Anonymous
tip. Asks, which commentary team would best describe your partnership? Oh, it's Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh, I'm like the Heenan guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
1,000%.
I could see Gorilla Monsoon yelling at Heenan over his Love of DIY theme song.
Yeah.
That's good.
Brandon Garza asks, what two wrestlers would you each pick to join you for a 3-on-3 basketball game?
Top Dollar.
Okay, who else?
Let's see here. Kevin Nash.
All right, and yourself. So that's your two.
Oh, shit. No, okay. Get rid of Kevin Nash then and bring in Lash Legend.
I was going to take Lash Legend. She's going to be my first pick.
I like how I just got 2 picks and then you just sat there and let them go.
Moss.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
And
White Brownie has an idea. Von Wagner.
He was a football player, wasn't he? I'm trying to think who else.
He could probably ball though.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, whoever you want.
I'll do Amos, and I think Bianca Belair played college basketball.
Ooh, boy. We'll be frozen out of those games, man.
Hey, we get the W. That's all. That's
like,
all.
Stop
that's what's
looking
most
me
important
off the rock, man.
No, see, I'm cool setting screens, getting rebounds.
You gonna do the Jason
defense.
Tatum?
I'll do that. Yeah.
He's like, hey, I don't need any points. I'm just gonna dimes.
Yeah, I saw that he had 11 assists last night.
I think so. Yeah, he had a ton. Yeah, boy, those Celtics. Let's see here. Elemental Giant. We get this question every once in a while. It says, out of all the shows you guys review, which are the most enjoyable to watch?
For me, it's SmackDown because I have the whole weekend to watch it, so I can do it bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
You get the good stuff that WWE has to offer, but it's not the full 3 hours of Raw. The downside to that is I have to take notes for SmackDown where I don't for Raw. Thankfully, Chris Garrix does a wonderful job taking notes for Raw, so I can just sit and chill and watch Raw and not have to worry about the note aspect of it. But still, it's 3 hours long. For me, it's SmackDown.
Mine is probably Raw, simply because of the way I ingest SmackDown. It's already spoiled for me on social media because I can't stay off that. Although evidently now I probably should delete my Twitter. It's probably Raw because I usually watch that live. And so I get to watch things and they're a surprise for me, as opposed to SmackDown where I get to see it on my little tiny phone right here. So I think Raw, because Raw, I just really enjoy everything on Raw these days. Somebody earlier, I don't know if there's any corroboration on this or they're just talking shit, but somebody said PW Insider claims that Chad Gable is expected to re-sign.
I saw that, and I looked on PW Insider. I didn't see that as a headline unless it's one of their exclusive things. That's
maybe that'll be on our thumbnail tomorrow. Let's see here. Oh, wow. AJ Otani. Oh, this is... AJ Otani, we'll try, I guess, but I'm not good with these on-the-spot things. With Nia and Tiffany possibly teaming up in the near future, what would be a good team name for them?
Yeah. Nothing good comes to mind immediately. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Nikal asks, what is Lola Vice's ceiling now that she has beaten Shayna Baszler?
Oh, it's a lot. It's a large ceiling.
She'll probably be NXT Women's Champion the next year.
She could be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, man.
There you go. AJ's username says, this is another instance of classic WWE shooting themselves in the foot with all the hype around the event, the partnership just to keep it status quo last night. Says main event ended flat. Grace should have won.
This is
keep
just
it interesting.
Rambling.
Yeah, this isn't really a question.
I
thought there was a question here.
Sorry, AJ's username. That was kind of...
I didn't have any expectations that Jordan Grace was going to win. I mean, the only intrigue in my mind was how they're going to do a finish interesting enough to protect her.
Sometimes I think people get, and I do the same thing. They get hung up in their own fantasy booking. So they're like, man, it'd be so cool if Jordan Grace wins, because then, things shift over to TNA. Then Roxanne has to go there. Then it's a big deal over there. That was never going to happen.
No,
that was never going to happen.
Nope.
So yeah, I do that sometimes too. The one disappointment I would say is that they took it out of an arena and put it that little Apex thing.
The Apex didn't talk much about the venue. We talked about Battleground. I thought on TV it looked better than the Performance Center.
I don't disagree with that.
But I feel like these premium live events, you got to have them in the arena.
It was not a huge upgrade from the Performance Center.
No, in terms of capacity, it looked like it was virtually the same.
I think it was like 700. Yeah.
When you have these premium live events, you got to have. I mean, they don't have to be the huge basketball arenas.
Right.
You could do a 5,000 seat venue somewhere.
Well, that's what they've been. I mean, they've been doing like 10,000.
Yeah.
You know.
And they usually do a pretty good job of filling them up. So,
yeah.
Cat Dad 7 asks here, if these wrestlers stay in their current state, who has a better option of you turning around on them? Steve with Tony D'Angelo or Larson with the learning tree? Here's the thing.
Oh, dude.
If this learning tree thing just keeps going as is, I am never turning around on it. Never.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Larson is a little bit less malleable than I am when it comes to that. I kind of feel like eventually, even if Tony D keeps doing the same thing, I'll come around to him.
I think all it takes is for them to figure out the confusion of what he exactly is the Don of.
Yeah, maybe.
If he was the Don and kept his criminal enterprise strictly Performance Center, all right, it's in the self-contained world of NXT. It's ridiculous, but it makes sense.
The chemistry of the Tony D'Angelo family is pretty decent, and I think
bad,
that more than anything is going to end up winning me over. So I could see that happening. White Brownie says, now that Kalani Jordan is the inaugural NXT North American Women's Champion, who would you guys like to see her first title defense be against? I think probably Fallon Henley makes most sense.
It'll be Fallon Henley, yeah.
John Hosey says, with Ricochet leaving, what grade would you give his WWE career?
Wow.
So I would give it, I would give it an A- on NXT and then a C- on main roster. So
what does it average out to? A B-?
A B-. I'd give him.
That's what I was going to say.
That even seems high, though.
Because
probably C+, probably a C+.
Because if you look at like the stories he was involved in, it's not much, but Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion, First Speed Champion. I mean, he found success, so it wasn't trash.
You could, I mean, the thing about him though, and no, he's a great wrestler.
Oh, he's fantastic.
But like when he would win those championships, it always just kind of felt like Vince was trying to do the thing where let's put a title on him and see if that helps. Like if he was the last Intercontinental Champion before Gunther, and that run of champions just was not very strong.
No, the preceded Gunther, no.
Jesse Helsia says, is the Soul Snatcher the coolest finisher right now?
It's pretty great.
It is awesome. Stefan says, what would be your top 5 matches for a Forbidden Door between WWE and AEW? So now would be, I know we did a video on this for Friendo Club, I think
so.
If we haven't, we should do this one. Then I'll get in trouble for that. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Oh, God, this is horrible. The Big Cringe says, if you were going to pull a Ricochet and had to give notice to the other member that you would leave going in Raw, how would you do it if you couldn't do it through a conversation? What a weird stipulation for that particular communication.
I'd FedEx you my resignation letter.
Oh, wow. The old FedEx.
Yeah. Or I'd put it on your doorstep, knock on your door real fast, and run away.
Okay, there you go. But you'd put it like next to a flaming bag of poop.
So you stomp on it.
I'd stomp on that. I'd be like, oh, I got to put this out. And then I look, I'm like, oh, I got shit on me. And then I look and I'm like, oh, what is this letter?
This says I quit. Hastily scrawled out.
Return to sender.
That's right. Don't accept this and send it back to me.
Let's see here. Oh, wow. Lord Blake Whitehouse says, now that Top Dollar has thrown receipts at Steve, after nearly a decade of going in Raw, which wrestlers are you worried would throw more receipts at you? I mean, we got a whole back catalog going back 10 years now.
Maybe Baron?
Oh, wow.
We talked a lot of trash about Baron back in the day. We've come around on him totally now.
I like Baron. Yeah,
I like Baron.
Yeah. Yeah, those Twitter snitches, man, they can dig into our back catalog. Start digging up. I'm getting rid of Twitter, man.
Yeah.
There's a storm coming, Larson.
Oh, dear.
Let's see. Oh, this is a great question. Patrick Cheeseman says, after losing her match, should Jordan Grace join Chase U to get better?
No.
She has to go to the U.
No.
Yeah, Chris Jericho. Boy, oh boy. Is he on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man. He might be coming after you, Larson.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Stating my opinion, man.
Yeah, dude. Let's see here.
Blake Whitehouse says, if Paul came to you and asked what you do with Obafemi his first month on main roster, what would you tell him?
Wait, I'm sorry. If Triple H did what now?
If Triple H came to you and said, how would you book Obafemi month 1 on the main roster, what would you pitch?
I would... You know what I would do? I'd be like, look, there was a guy that was on main roster that you guys really fumbled, but he had the best theme song and he had really awesome robes. So Obafemi shows up. Bang, glorious. And I would just give him the glorious gimmick. He'd have the robe, smiling Obafemi. Glorious. He'd come down and he'd be smiling the whole time. And he'd be like, Steve, I'm really confused about why you're using me this way. I'm like, because I thought Glorious Bobby Roode was awesome and they misused him. So now we're going to do a do-over. We're going to use you really well. But then he just wins a lot.
Yeah.
Wins the U.S. Championship a couple times. Joins forces with Nick Nemeth, to form the Dirty Dogs 2. Yeah, I would just basically have him follow the Bobby Roode path.
It's terrible.
I don't know. I didn't come out and beat everybody. Come on, that's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I don't know if Braun Strowman is like, he's got some mileage on him. So I don't know if his body is up for the task. But put Obafemi, it doesn't have to be Braun, but Braun comes to mind, in a feud kind of like Braun and Roman in 2017 or whatever it was, where they were just going out there, having these crazy matches, beating the hell out of each other and destroying things.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be
and then after that, then Obafemi wins U.S. title.
I say he dethrones Roman Reigns.
Well, Roman doesn't have a title right now, man.
Yeah. Obafemi comes out, and he's like, listen, I learned so much in NXT. I am the new learning tree. And then he goes around and gives unsolicited advice.
I think it's time to wrap it up then.
Backstage.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Don't really want to continue this podcast any longer.
Oh, no.
Because it's too many learning tree references for my liking. So have a good one, everybody. We're going to go play some basketball, I think, and we'll see you later.
Oh, you're going to join my learning tree on the basketball court, Larson?
Absolutely not. Although if there's shade, it's going to be hot out. Maybe.
Maybe, man. Absolutely. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.